G'day, I'm Tim Thompson. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a Bushman's Gate with a self-tightening mechanism. Make sure you stick around to the end because although many of you may have set up Bushman's Gates before, I wonder how many have thought of using a lever type self-tightening mechanism at the end. This makes a super strong gate. And hey, if you like what I'm doing here today, please do hit that little red button down there. It doesn't cost you anything, supports the channel and keeps me able to do a video like this every week. Alright guys, let's get into it and have some fun. So the first thing we want to do is tie off a loop at the top and at the bottom of the post that we want the gate to close to. So we're going to tie off our loop using a figure 8 knot. If you need to know how to do this knot, there's a link just there on the screen. And we're going to create a loop that's going to sit out about this far from the post. Next up, secure your bottom loop, I don't know, about 10 centimeters or so off the ground. That way your gate has something to hook to at the base. Now let's go over to the other post here, and what we're going to do is we're going to tie 4 or 5 wires, depends how many wires you want in your gate, off onto this post, and we're going to string them across to the other one. So here we go, just starting to tie off the wires that are going to be used for my gate. If you want to know how to use the end knot, which is the knot I'm using here to tie off the wires, there's a little link in the description. So we're going to do this 4 or 5 times and we'll have the wires ready for our gate. So I'm just running out the parallels that are going to be actually the form of my gate. I'm coming about 6 inches past the post I want to tie off to, so I've got a bit of spare wire here. What I'm then doing is cutting that off. You notice I always stick the wire into the ground and I tend to work out from the post. So the bottom wire I stick into the ground next to the post and then I work out this way. I'm also wearing some safety glasses, which is unusual for me, but normally when I'm working with wire I secure it straight away so it's not flopping around everywhere. In this case I'm going to have 4 or 5 pieces of unsecured wire. I don't want them flicking up, hitting me in the face. A little $2 safety precaution, probably a good idea. Okay, so there we have our 5 parallel wires that we're going to use for our gate. They're all set up from the post in order, bottom to top. Now we've got to get, this is my favourite bit, now we've got to go and get some sticks to make up the uprights in the gate and to make our self-tensioning closing system. So we'll just clean up our sapling that we've cut down here, get rid of all the leaves and the small twigs off of it. So now we're going to get the largest of our uprights that we just cut from the sapling and we're going to put this into our loops. That'll make up the latch for our gate. Now we're going to tie these loose bits of wire off to this as tight as we can. I'm just finishing off these knots now and you'll notice that they're not exactly tight. That's okay because we're going to build a self-tightening mechanism in a minute. We just want them, you know, not too floppy. All of my wires are tied between the 2 loops. I don't have one over the top of either loop so that I can take the gate off at any time just by simply taking it out of the loops. Now there's 2 ways that you tighten this gate up. The first is by tying on the uprights. That's going to take a little bit of tension into it. And the second is by a tightening system that I saw an old bushy make once, and it just blew me away, and I want to show you that one. That's what I'm really excited about with this particular project. So I'm going to have two uprights in this gate, one here and one here, reasonably equally distant apart. Now I've just got to cut myself some little loops of wire and tie the post off to each wire. Now I'm going to use this handy little twitching tool that I made in an earlier video. If you want to have a look at that and see how to make one, just click the link in the top right corner of the screen now. Now, opening and closing the gate's not that pretty, but it is fairly straightforward. All you have to do is put the bottom end of the gate assembly into the bottom loop first, and then put the top loop on second. Let's have a look. And voila. Now, let's do the self-tensioning assembly so that we can make this gate even better. Okay, so now I've got my gate up, I want to make a self-tensioning mechanism. I'm going to use my 3-foot last piece of branch that I've cut my notch into with my knife, and I'm going to use some mild steel tie wire. I'm using mild steel because I want to be able to twist it if I need to. Now we're just going to wrap this once around the notch that I've cut into the post. Try and be reasonably tight, don't have to be exceptionally difficult on it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie this off to the end post so that it's in about the same position as the upright on the gate. So now we've tied off our tensioning stick, and you can see it's about the same distance away from the post as the end of the gate. We then pass it through the gate like that, and we can tighten our gate up simply by pulling on the stick. Now that I've got my tightening mechanism set up, all I have to do is bring that through the gate, wrap it around, and you'll see this piece of wire that I've looped to the top rail that holds it in place. And now my gate is super tight. Stock are going to respect this gate. They wouldn't have respected it before. I hope that's been helpful. I know most of you probably know how to set up a Bushman's gate, but I wonder how many people have used a leverage-based tightening mechanism like this before. It's really simple, it's really easy. It's a last-minute attachment to any temporary gate that you set up, and it makes them super strong. Give it a go. Thanks very much, guys, and if you like this video, please support the channel by subscribing. I try and bring out a new video every week or so, and if you've got any ideas for future videos that you'd like, please don't hesitate to leave your comments below. Thanks very much. I love this stuff.